Welcome back to Your Money, Your Goals, a financial empowerment toolkit. This is video 2, preparing to deliver the training. This is the second of 3 training videos designed to prepare you to facilitate the training of frontline staff and volunteers on the Your Money, Your Goals toolkit. This video will give you a snapshot of the training, including a flow of the training, the methodologies used, and tools to help you facilitate the training in a way that's effective and engaging. As you may remember from the first video, the purpose of this training is to provide you with an orientation to Your Money, Your Goals, the CFPB's Financial Empowerment Toolkit. It's also to provide you with an overview of the training for frontline staff. And finally, it is to ensure that you have the tools, knowledge, and confidence to provide this training to your constituency or in your community. We also wanted to remind you of the tools and resources you have to prepare for and deliver the Your Money, Your Goals training. First, you have the toolkit. This is what you will ultimately give the training attendees. This document contains all the tools for them to use with the people they serve. You will also have the Your Money, Your Goals training slides. This is the material you will use to deliver the training on the toolkit. I'll cover this more in depth in this video as well as the next video. The main point here is to remember that it's a PowerPoint presentation with all the facilitation instructions in the notes section of the PowerPoint. You also have the Your Money, Your Goals implementation guide, which was developed to help frontline staff and volunteers think through ways to integrate the toolkit into their everyday lives and help you further prepare to deliver the training. You have the resources available through the CFPB website. And finally, you have your own experience and expertise supported by this video training specific to this toolkit. Now we're going to cover how the training instructions are organized. First, you should note that the training has been developed to be used without modification. However, as a trainer, you're free to modify it and use it in a way that works best for you by choosing the modules, topics, and tools that will best serve the people that you are training. If you add content that is not part of the original toolkit or accompanying slides, please just make sure that the new content does not feature the CFPB logo. On those slides containing new content, you can insert a white rectangle to cover up the logo. The facilitation instructions themselves can be found in the Notes section of the training PowerPoint presentation. Under the View tab, select Note Pages to see the facilitation instructions. To print the note pages, once you select Print, you will be given options under Settings. Under Slides, select Notes Pages. The training is organized into a series of sections. The beginning sections are labeled Training Section 1 through 5. The content modules are labeled as by their module name, Module 5, etc. Each new section begins with a number and title, the methodology or description of the type of presentation that's used within that section of the training or that activity, a corresponding segment in Your Money, Your Goals. This is the module that corresponds to that section, an estimated time for that activity, as well as instructions for facilitating the presentation. This is a snapshot of what the facilitation instructions given to you as trainers look like, specifically the instructions for facilitators. They contain all the information you need to facilitate that section of the training. The information includes direct instructions to you, the facilitator, as well as direct instructions to provide to the participants, questions to ask the participants to facilitate discussions or debriefs, as well as answers to questions and other activities. The facilitation instructions for one activity may continue across many slides. You should also know that the facilitator instructions correspond to the visual aid on each PowerPoint slide itself. So what's in the Notes section matches up with what's on the slide. There are many different methodologies used throughout the training. This is to ensure the training is as engaging as possible. Engaging training is effective training. In general, people tend to retain that which they see, hear, and do much more than that which they just see or hear. So while presentation is one methodology used in the training, it's used minimally and supported by other methodologies designed to engage people more fully. For example, the training begins with an opener rather than an introduction. Round-robin introductions tend to take a long time and sap the room of energy. An opening activity gets people engaged right away and sends a completely different message about the training. In addition to using an opener, the training includes an icebreaker designed to help participants get to know one another better, facilitated discussion, which is discussion prompted by you asking questions, brainstorming to generate many ideas, as well as individual, small group, and large group exercises and activities. The training also uses exercises in pairs or triads. This generally is used for more complex skills building, so people are working in a way that involves them, but in which they are supported by one or two other people. The training also uses carousel, which is a kinesthetic way to cumulatively brainstorm ideas, contests, which has participants engaged in friendly competition, and debate, a methodology which has participants defending opposite sides of the same issue. In this case, debate is used to highlight the benefits of frontline staff providing financial empowerment, as well as uncover common objections to taking on this role. We use scavenger hunt, as has already been described in the first video, as well as role play, an activity that involves each person taking on a specific role and then acting within that role through the activity. In this training, we use role play to introduce the My Money Picture assessment. There are skits designed to have people act out situations, which gives the viewing audience or other participants something to react to, as well as tool analyses, in-depth examinations of some of the tools provided in the toolkit. Finally, we use scenario analyses, which are like mini case studies and ideal for applying new concepts or skills. There are two kinesthetic voting techniques used in the training: vote with your body and stand up, sit down. We will cover these more in depth in the next video. We also use personal stories to share experiences with respect to student loans. Teach Back is used to involve participants in material that would generally be covered via presentation or lecture. In this case, participants use information in their toolkit, as well as from their own life experience, to define and explain different financial products or services, each group of two taking on and teaching back one product or service. Finally, a closing activity is an activity designed to provide closure to the training. As you can see, were you to use the training in its entirety, you would employ a wide range of training methodology, moving way beyond lecture or presentation. So while the training includes a lot, we did not include additional Energizer ideas. Energizers are generally content-free activities designed to get people moving around and are used in training when the participants' energy is waning. One of the reasons we did not include these activities in the training is that the training itself uses participatory methodology, so participants should be engaged throughout your training. We also did not include a lot of options in the training. We wanted to make the training as simple to use as possible, so we did not include a lot of decision points with respect to activity ideas. Finally, we did not include information on the timing of breaks. Breaks are important, but you will need to decide when they should happen in the training. One of the things that we have not yet covered in this training is the purpose of the Your Money, Your Goals training. This is something that you'll share at the outset of the training that you provide. In a nutshell, the purpose is to provide frontline staff and volunteers with an orientation to the Your Money, Your Goals Financial Empowerment Toolkit, including strategies for using the toolkit, and the tools, knowledge, and confidence to provide financial empowerment services to the people they serve. While we cover the purpose of the training for frontline staff, we also want to review the objectives, which are the specific things they should know or can do because of the training. By the end of the training that you provide, they should be able to explain the ways in which the outcomes of financial empowerment and training align with their own program outcomes, as well as improved outcomes for the people they serve. They should also be able to demonstrate increased confidence in their own knowledge about core financial management topics. Additionally, by the end of the training, they'll be able to assess an individual's financial condition or situation using the information in Introduction Part 2. They'll be able to provide the right financial content at the right time in the context of their work based on assessment. And they'll be able to use specific tools to help people reach their goals in different cultural as well as situational contexts. They should also be able to access and use tools and materials available at www.consumerfinance.gov, which is the CFPB's website. They should also be able to make appropriate and specific referrals to help people manage their financial challenges, as well as know where to go for unbiased information or help in their work. One of the things we said that we wanted you to learn from this video was how the actual training flowed, and these next slides will show the overall flow of the training. You'll start with an opener, the Money and Me opening activity, and the instructions for this are contained in the notes section of the PowerPoint slide deck, as with all the different activities. Then you'll move on to an overview of the training and introductions. After that, you'll start to follow the toolkit in order. You'll start with an introduction to the CFPB and financial empowerment, much as we did in the first video. Then you'll do the Your Money, Your Goals toolkit orientation, which employs the scavenger hunt, which we also covered in the first video. You'll then discuss the role of referral and then move into understanding the situation and starting the conversation, really highlighting the information in Introductions Part 2 and 3. Then you'll start covering the different content modules by starting off with Setting Goals, which is Module 1. The rest of the training follows the toolkit in terms of order. You should note that while the training is designed to introduce all of the modules, not every single tool is covered in the context of the training. We tend to focus in on 1 or 2 tools in each module to ensure that frontline staff are introduced to all the different modules. Here are a few additional training tips. First, while the training can be used without modification, it's really up to you to choose the right content for the people you're training. You may not have 8 hours to provide training. If you only have 4 hours, you're going to have to make some choices. Use the implementation guide to help you narrow down what it is you'll actually train on. Remember to provide breaks. Breaks are important, and you will need to decide when they should happen in the training. And if you find that you're running out of time, just indicate to the participants that there will be some information that you'll have to skip. The worst thing to do is to try to talk fast and cover all the material all at once. Just recognize that you're going to have to cut some of the material out. You did your best and you just couldn't get through it all in time, and that's okay. Finally, if an activity is not working out as described in the facilitator instructions, just stop it, explain that you didn't develop the training yourself and it's not working out as described, and move on to the next thing. There is a disclaimer in the training that you should also be aware of. This is early on in your slide deck, and it basically states that you, as the trainer, are not a representative of the CFPB. You should paraphrase this disclaimer for the group and briefly share information on the organization with which you are associated. Congratulations! You have completed Video 2, Preparing to Deliver the Training. Hopefully, after this video, you have a good idea of the flow of the training and what's involved in actually facilitating the training itself. To continue your training, go to Video 3, Using the Tools, an explanation of how the tools are covered in the training.